There was when Barack Obama was elected president, some talk of the post-racial direction that America was moving in. Never mind, like, and it's important, never mind that who Barack Obama was as a black man, charismatic black man, read books, always, played the very, very commanding role of leader. He wasn't a descendant. He wasn't a descendant of slavery within the United States. I mean, he's a black man racially, but my identity as a black man is my nation. That's who I am, and that has to do with what happened to me here in the diaspora. He's my brother in a Pan-African sense, but he's continental African from Kenya. That's where his father was from. And my people are the people here, many of whom their names and identities can't be because they weren't documented. So there was this talk of like this post-racial thing. And of course, black people and most white people that had a lick of sense were like, we're nowhere near that. And, you had the thing in the White House where Obama has the beer with the cop and Henry Louis Gates, gets arrested in his own house. And Obama's plan for humanizing police law enforcement in the United States, have a beer with the cop. And you got to ask yourself, though, if this is important, and we're going to clean this up. I was thinking about this today, and I want to put this together in a way that's coherent. No, we're not until we see evidence to the contrary anywhere near a post-racial reality. But I think the thing that a lot of black people, my people, have to ask themselves, do you want to live in a post-racial reality? What I think is interesting is that it's really hard for me to imagine the post-racial world that is not also the world that is beyond the nation state. I think that those two identity formations reinforce each other. And I think they're really, at the end of the day, very similar. And that this place that we're going out of necessity, not out of a visionary desire we're going there out of necessity because we've tried everything else and we're going down a shithole like quite rapidly. So there was someone asked the question, like it's common on the right to ask the question, why is it okay to be proud that you're black, but not okay to be proud that you're white? That's a really cool question and an obvious question. And to shout down the questioner as being an obvious racist isn't as much fun as like really answering the question because there is an answer. Black identity was formed to a certain extent, to an important extent, in an important way, by white oppression. White identity was formed to consolidate power in the hands of European Christians. Slavery was possible because African leadership, African chieftains, didn't have a sense of a common African, a common black community. Those people on the other side of the mountain there, they're our enemy, and I get a good price for them. Let's go get some. Black identity emerges in response to white identity. And the celebration of Black Pride is just a way of kind of getting around, overcoming, poking through all of the things that have been done to demean and destroy and, just cover up and hide Black achievement. It has to be brought to the surface because there's been such an orchestrated effort through racism to keep it all covered up. White pride, on the other hand, is pride of what? I can maybe understand you want to have an ethnic pride because you're Italian, and I mean, wow, this is my nation, and there's a language and there's some history that's common. But what does it even mean to say you're proud of being white? It's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. And when you try to defend it and make it similar, it becomes racist. It becomes saying, well, I'm proud of the fact that we kicked all the other nations in the ass and imposed our values and systems on top of them. And they don't seem to be able at this point to have dug their way out of it.